we're back with another impromptu video. I think this is officially our song. We actually had a friend say that whenever she hears the song now, this song, The Box by, what's his name again?
Roddy Ricch.
I don't know why I cannot remember this man's name. When she hears the song, she thinks about us. So I think this is officially our intro song for just for a while. I'm sure we'll find something else. So guys, we're alone together. That's the hashtag now. Alone together. Quarantine in the house, and we just thought we'll make a cute little video and answer some questions. How are you feeling? He hasn't been quarantined.
Yeah,
He's been going to work.
I'm kind of tired, but
Yeah.
she's been. I guess they call it cabin fever is what it's called.
Yeah, I think I'm getting there. So I was watching something today that today's like day 6 of the 15-day quarantine. And it's possible that it will be extended till early May. I think the CDC is recommending that we practice social distancing for the next 8 weeks.
I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can sit in one spot till May.
Yeah. I know this. When this is over and when things have calmed down, I'm about to be at every brunch in Houston. I'm about to be at every event. Yeah. But I'm grateful for the time to be still and quiet and to spend time with our loved ones, and just be found in prayer, because there's so much going on. So many lives have been lost with what's going on. So we're definitely praying for the families of people who have been directly affected by COVID. So we are going to answer some questions, and they're questions about love and romance. And would you like for me to start first?
Go ahead.
So the first question is for Joshua, and if he wants me to answer this question as well, he can ask me to do so. So the first question for you, and this was strategic. What is the next step for us?
What is the next step for us?
That's the question. What do you think is the next step for us?
Normally, what people say is children. So I'm not sure if that is the next step or not. But that could be a next step. Could be children.
Can I ask another question on top of that? When would you like for that to be our next step? We've talked about this. This is just we've talked about it, but the answers to these questions change frequently, and mostly me.
That's what I was about to say.
Mostly
change
me.
is mainly her.
Because like 1 week I'm like, I want a baby now, and then like 3 days later I'm like, thank God for birth control. Exactly. So the changes happen a lot with me. But for you, when would you like for us to have a baby of our own?
I will be 37 this year, so which means I'm 3 years from 40. So I never wanted to be 40 and having a child. That's just my personal.
Or having a newborn child.
A newborn child.
Yeah.
I know I would be 40 with a child, but not. I mean a newborn child.
Yeah.
So I would. That's always been something I was like kind of leery about, because graduating high school at 17 or 18, that means I'll be 57, 58.
Knocking on 60.
Almost 60. And I'm almost 60 raising a child.
But this is a conversation we had before we got married. And we came to an understanding on this before we got married. But in reality, he may be 40 with a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old or a newborn, because there is an age difference between us. He is 36, I'm 30. So even when he's 40, I'm still 34. I think I may still have it in me to have one more child. And so, being with someone where there's an age difference as this, it's possible that he will be 40 with a newborn. It may not. If we have a child next year and it's a girl,
we're done.
It's very likely that we're done. It's very likely that we will be done.
It's a wrap.
So, would you like to ask me a question?
So the next step, I guess, would be a child.
Well, that's going to happen. You said I guess.
I assume.
Next question.
What does our love feel like to you?
What does our love feel like to me? Peace. It feels like peace. We do have our chaotic moments.
We're not talking about that. I said, what does our love feel like to you?
I'm explaining that.
You want to bring in the negative.
We have our chaotic moments, but the peace surpasses. Like the peaceful moments always have and will always will surpass those crazy moments. So in a short answer, because we want to keep this video short and cute, our love to me feels like peace. It feels like safety. It feels like home. Can I ask you the same question?
What does our love feel like to me? It feels natural. So if I could say what love feels like, it just feels natural. A lot of times, I feel like I'm not with my wife. It's like my friend.
Yeah.
Like my partner, my buddy.
Yeah.
So that's what, if you have like a best friend, somebody if you understand that dynamic and that relationship, how y'all, joke a lot and then you argue and then y'all cool again.
Yeah.
And then y'all have a lot of fun and y'all talk about everything.
Right.
That's what it feels like. It just feels natural.
It feels like a slumber party every day.
Yeah.
With your friends. Second question for Joshua. What are 3 favorite memories of us? And if you think it might be lengthy, then you can just do 1. But 3 or 1, for the sake of time, favorite memories of us.
I always go back to engagement dinner night. That'll always,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't think you was gonna say that.
Yeah. That's always be a great memory for me because we had such a great time. And then the next day was a great memory. Us getting married.
Let's get married.
Was a great memory. And let me see.
You want me to help you?
You asked me my name.
When we met, that's what I would say.
That's what you would say.
Wow.
But her probably meeting JJ was another great memory.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a good memory too. So
Sweet.
what about you?
When we met, number 1, our engagement dinner, and when we got married.
Cool. All right. So, Miss Fields, why do you love me?
I don't know. No, I'm playing.
You better figure it out.
Because you are truly a man after God's heart, and that was something that was evident from before we even became boyfriend girlfriend. We would have a lot of conversations over the phone, FaceTime, and even throughout that season of just strictly talking on the phone without meeting each other, it was obvious that he was serious about his relationship with Christ, and God was number 1 in his life, and it was evident. And that's like the overarching reason that I love you. You have a great personality. You're handsome. You remind me a lot of my father, which you hear all the time that women gravitate towards men that remind them of their fathers, and for me that is a very true statement.
Cool.
Yeah.
Question?
I had a question, but I forgot, so I'll just stick to the question here. So the last question for you, Joshua, is remember from the first time. What do you remember from the first time you met me? Don't play me.
What do I remember? So
you always say this, but don't say what I think you gonna say.
So Bella threw up.
Oh, I thought you was gonna talk about the jeggings.
I was going there too. But the first time I met, we actually met. It was I came by her house or whatever, and Bella had thrown up that day. So our house smelled like throw up.
Poop.
And our house smelled like throw up and poop. First time.
But I told him
She told me
in
that.
advance.
And she was real like distant, and she was like weird that day.
Oh.
Like She was tired.
I was tired
Yeah,
because at the time I was still on staff at the church.
At the church, correct.
And I had went to like 2 or 3 services.
Yeah.
And I was tired, but we wanted to meet.
Mm-hmm.
And then so going to church all morning,
Mm-hmm.
even out in the part of the afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming home to finding multiple spots of vomit and poop from your pet that you have to now clean. I was very tired and exhausted by the time he got there. And then the house smelled
really bad.
Really bad.
So that, and then it was another. Then when we went out.
Well, it was only. Oh, you answered the question.
Huh?
You answered the question.
But I want to talk about every time Keisha had a pair. They were the blue.
They were blue jean jeggings.
Blue
and they were my
jean
favorite jeggings in the
They
world.
were her go-to, and I guess she thought I didn't pay attention, because every time we went out, she wore those same jeggings.
Not every
time.
time. I feel like.
So I told her this. I said, "Now, every time we go out, you wear those same pants." I was thinking maybe she didn't have another pair of pants. Maybe that was her only.
My friends.
Maybe that was her only pair. She switched the top. I'll give you that. Give her that. But those blue jean jackets.
And what did you wear all the time?
I wore shorts. I wore my
khaki cargo shorts.
I'm a man though.
Every time.
I mean, sometimes. Well.
So how you gonna call me out on something
not
like
every
that?
Time.
Okay.
Not every time. For her, she wore those more than I wore those cargo shorts.
No, and I'm not gonna let you put me out there like that.
If I could find them, do you still have them?
I do not have them. That was 3 years ago. You put them cargo shorts still in the closet. You know that?
Are they?
Yes.
Oh, well, I might need to put them on then.
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
Do you have anything else? Oh, you do have one more question.
One more question. So, when were you the proudest of us?
I have many proud moments of us, but as I spoke on in the blog that we posted on yesterday, titled "Why Him," I speak about May 7th, and May 7th was a very tough day in our marriage. We were not even 2 months in of being husband and wife, and I don't even remember what sparked the issue that morning, but he was at work, I was home, or I was at work, and we just started going back and forth via text message, and it was just a day full of events. And throughout that day, we talked about annulment, we talked about the divorce annulment, and by the end of that night, we came back together, and we were on one accord, and we understood what the enemy tried to make happen that day, but through the knowledge of God that we have and the faith that we have, and we came together, we prayed, we were able to push past that day. So May 7th is that day. May 7th, 2019 is a day that we will always remember. But not remember in a bad way, just remember that God brought us through, and we're still here. We're still married, husband and wife, and happy. Like I love him, and I like him. Like he's really my best friend. He's number one, like I said in our first video, our last video. He's my first best friend, and Bella's like my second best friend. Would you like to answer the question? So what's the question again?
When were you the proudest of us?
So.
I guess when we got married. Yeah, I think that was a proud moment.
Yeah.
Us, taking that step to get married.
Yeah.
And it's easy just to date.
Yeah.
That's like the easy thing to do, and just date, not get married without the commitment.
Yeah.
I was about to say something, but I ain't gonna say that. So.
No, I'm curious.
No, I'll tell you off camera. But yeah, I think us getting married and doing that thing is a proud moment for me about us.
So I have a bonus question.
I have a bonus answer.
It's kind of a layered question, but you can just answer it however. What was going through your mind when you asked my dad for my hand in marriage? Because it was like a Sunday morning. We were getting ready to leave.
We were in Virginia.
And we were getting ready to fly back to Houston. And he had asked my dad that morning. So when you walked downstairs to go ask for my hand in marriage, what was going through your mind? Well, what was going through your mind that night before, and then that morning when you woke up?
What was going through my mind? I knew he was gonna say yes. I mean, it wasn't like I would have any doubt that he would say no, because I knew he approved of me and he wanted me to marry you. So it wasn't anything that I was like nervous about.
Okay.
No, I wasn't like, because you didn't even know I was going to do it. I told you after the fact that I want to talk to your dad and ask him for your hand in marriage, and he was like, sure, Josh, I don't see why not. So yeah.
I know he was relieved to get me off his hands. Did you sense that from him, that he was relieved?
No.
I'm the baby of the family.
He acts like it.
And I act like it. And he has spoiled me. And I think you would agree to that, because I'm still spoiled in some areas. So I'm pretty sure he was happy to push me away.
Yeah.
So guys, this is it. We didn't want to take up too much time. We just wanted to spread a little love and light on your timelines in this crazy times. But if you have questions, let us know. Our email is Josh and Keisha Fields, Josh and A&D, Keisha Fields with an S @gmail.com. DM us and ask us any questions you have. They don't have to be like relationship questions. It could be about ministry. It could be about co-parenting. It could be about anything, and we will compile those questions and then make another video.
Okay, so before I go, I know, like I said, there's a lot going on in this world, a lot going on in the United States, a lot going on around us. So always remember, never fear. Always trust God. Put your trust, put your hope in God, not in what you see. Things change, God doesn't. Situations change, God never changes. So always trust God. Don't ever forget that. Put your hope, put your trust in the living God. He got you. He'll take care of you. He'll never leave you. All right? Be blessed.
Bye.